you got to be careful what you wish for. And the reason why I'm saying you have to be careful what you wish for is because sometimes the things you want most in life could actually end up destroying you, could actually make you a far worse off human being than you may not be aware of. I grew up without my dad, okay? And there were times in my life when I really wanted to be around my dad. I really wanted to be in his presence, especially around the pivotal parts of my life coming into my teenage years. I really wanted my dad to be around. I really wanted to have a relationship with my dad. And after the countless disappointments of him promising that he's gonna come and pick me up and we're gonna go over to his house or whatever the case may be, I eventually got tired of it. And I can remember the day that I made up my mind and I said that I'm never gonna accept promises from anybody. I don't care who it is. I tell anybody to this day, if you want me and you to be friends, you want me and you to be on solid footing, don't ever promise me anything that you're not willing to stand on. And I still live with it to this day. But what it taught me, the experience of not having my dad around, was how to be resilient, how to find alternative views or ways of getting what I want out of life or getting what I wanted out of life. What I did know of my dad was that he was a hard worker. So I took the fact that he works hard and I applied it to myself. And with the help of other men around me, added on other characteristics that they themselves had that I admired. And I'm like, I want that. And that's something I've always done throughout the years. And I've even done it to this point still, where if I see something good about somebody and I admire it, and I'm like, I love to be like that person, the way he or handles conflicts or the way he deals with his woman, deals with his kids, deals with his friends. I want that. So I'm going to adapt that, you know? And I think about all of the characteristics, the things that I've done for myself and the way I've lived my life. And it always makes me wonder, who would I become if my dad was around? Would I have been a even better version of myself or a lesser version of myself because I had my dad around? Because when I look at my kids today and me being a father, a husband, a provider, a protector, and someone who is constantly trying to instill strong, proper values in my sons and in my daughter, you can see a lot of times them taking it for granted. Not because they don't, just because they're young and they don't know the other half. Because they've grown up in a world surrounded by husbands, wives, children. This is all they see, from their cousins to my brothers. This is all they know. So the idea of not having a father around for them is something that they cannot even imagine. So all the things that weren't afforded to me, I give to my kids. I give to my kids because I want them to know that you will never have a longing for me. And right now, because they're still young and they're still developing, I know that they don't get it right now, but I know one day they will get it. And hopefully it'll be gratitude and thanks for the fact that I stuck around. I held up my end of the bargain and never promised them anything that I wasn't willing to fulfill. I've made mistakes and I've asked for forgiveness because I'm human. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that I see a lot of young dudes and a lot of young girls walk around with this burden, this longing for mom or longing for dad to love them and appreciate them as human beings. But at some point, the reality of it is that you're going to have to forget about all of that. And you're going to have to start thanking your lucky stars that you've made it this far in your life and you've achieved the things you've achieved without the presence of a father or mother. Because if you do not get that monkey off your back, that monkey is going to pull you down and it's going to jeopardize not only the relationship with your children, but it's going to have an effect on you even with the relationships that you have with your spouse, your friends, and just people in general, because you're going to allow that chip on your shoulder to ruin the greatness that's within you. And chances are you're going to turn people off from you. Would I have liked to have my dad around? I would have. But I also know that there's a 50-50 chance that I would have probably been a worse off person because there's nothing worse than when you're around somebody that doesn't want to be around. And you know, as kids, we figure it out real easy, real quick that this is a good person, this is a bad person. And so as a result of that, you end up having another set of chip on your shoulder because you're in the presence of someone who's supposed to love you unconditionally, but they're not interested in being around. So it's imperative for you to want more for yourself and to have the drive and a relentless spirit that says, hey, you know what? Regardless of however this situation turns out, I'm going to make the best of this situation because life is bountiful. I may not have had a dad, but I'm going to be a great dad when I have the opportunity to be. I may not know what it means to be a husband or how to act as a husband, but I'm going to take that journey and I'm going to learn and I'm going to be the best husband that I can be. I may not have been around loving people, but I'm going to take that journey and I'm going to learn how to be a loving person. I may not have been around people who believe in reciprocity, but I'm going to be that person who's going to teach reciprocity. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be open to suggestions. I'm going to be willing to learn the things that weren't taught to me. And a lot of us can start where we're at with a conscious decision of, hey, you know what? I can have a better life. I just have to work towards wanting and making that a reality. I don't need to follow the path that is supposedly laid out before me with the absence of mom and dad or a bullshit environment, because there's other environments and I can get into another environment where the value of friendship, the value of a good woman, the value of clean neighborhoods are things that are there on a daily basis. We make too many excuses as to why our lives are difficult and dysfunctional, but far too many of us do not make our actions intentional because we're comfortable in the chaos. But yet we still desire to go into our past and try to hold on and remember the things that we didn't like. But we don't remember the things that we didn't like to make improvements upon them. We remember the things to keep the scars open so we can use it as a crutch. I know who I am today. I'm pretty proud of who I am today. I may not be a rich man, but I'm working on it. I'm not a bad father. Still got room for improvements. I'm not a bad husband. Still got room for improvement. But only me know that because I'm not settling just to be okay. I have a standard that I'm adhering to and I'm pursuing excellence. And I believe you should too. Gorilla-minded. Peace.